Hey everybody, Movie Review Next Story here, and I'm back with another review. And you might realize I'm a little bit differently. I got a ring light, so hopefully my videos will look a bit smoother. Um, but yeah, watched a random Netflix movie, and that was Trigger Warning. This is an action thriller film directed by Muli Surya, probably butchering that, from 2024, and it stars Jessica Alba, Mark Webber, Jake Weary, Gabriel Basso, Tone Bell, Kylie Lyman, and Anthony Michael Hall. In this film, a Special Forces commando uncovers a dangerous conspiracy when she returns to her hometown looking for answers into her beloved father's death. So, what did I think of Trigger Warning? Um, it's fine. Kind of like a lot of these Netflix action movies, they're fine, but they don't really do anything that's special, so it's just not that memorable. There's like one really cool thing that this film does that a lot of female-oriented action movies don't do, which I will get to, but overall it's just kind of pedestrian. But let me get to the cast. Let me get to the cast. Jessica Alba plays Parker, again, Special Forces Commando. Um, I like Jessica Alba as an actress. She's grown on me. I've seen her in, again, quite a few things. I probably already talked about most of them. Sin City, Fantastic Four 2. She was in Never Been Kissed, Sensei 2, Awake, which is one of my favorite films of all time. Mechanic Resurrect, I thought she did fine in that. Um, is there anything else? Not that I can see. Um, but yeah, I don't think she's a bad actress. She's grown on me, and I think she works for the most part in this role. Um, Mark Webber plays Jesse Swan. He's the deputy of this town or something, or the sheriff, something like that. He's an actor I've seen in a lot of films. I get him mixed up with Brendan Fletcher all the fucking time. He was in Green Room. He was in 13 Sins, which I remember being fine. Fine. I'd probably have to rewatch it. It's a remake of another film, but 13 Game of Death. But I don't mind him in this. He just has not that interesting a character to play. Jake Weary plays Elvis Swan, who is the brother who's been selling illegal firearms through this tunnel. He's okay, kind of your stereotypical that type of character. Um, he was in Measure of Revenge, which was a film that I didn't hate as much as a lot of people too. Um, but yeah, um, Gabriel Basso plays Mike, who's a childhood friend, I guess, of Parker's. I'm surprised. Well, he's known for being in Hillbilly Elegy and The Night Agent, which is also a Netflix thing, so maybe he has a Netflix deal. So most of the things I know him from are Netflix. But he's not bad in the film, just again, not much to his character. Tone Bell plays Spider. He's a friend in the Special Forces of Parker. He's fine. I don't mind him. Kyle Lyman plays Ghost, who's this guy that's buying weapons from our villains. He's in a lot of random fucking action movies. He's in a lot from a director named Timothy Woodward Jr., so I'm guessing he's a friend of his. Because I saw him in a movie of that guy's named Acceleration, and he's just in a bunch of his movies. Um, but he's also in things like Den of Thieves, Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus, Sympathy for the Devil, the Nicolas Cage movie, Cop Shop, which I haven't seen yet, Circle, which I thought was a decent enough movie. I'll probably have to watch it again and do a review, but I don't, he's fine here. He doesn't have much to do. And Anthony Michael Hall plays Ezekiel Swan, who's the senator, and the senator subplot is kind of not needed. It doesn't add anything to the movie, but I don't mind Anthony Michael Hall. I've always liked him since Breakfast Club and 16 Candles. I want to get the good out of the way right now. Jessica Alba is not a bad actress. for a long time, people are like, oh yeah, she just gets by on her looks. She does to an extent, but she does, again, after seeing Awake, I think she has proven herself to be a pretty capable actress. The fights, for the most part, are pretty good. Um, Choreography wise, the big standout that I can think of off the top of my head is in the in the store where she like stops the robbery and she's using all these different tools. Like she uses, I think, a saddle to like grab a chainsaw from a guy and then hit him in the head. And then this one guy, she gets like wire cutters, I think, and like wraps them around his neck and kind of like incapacitates him with them. That was a fun scene. I wish more of the film played into that. Um, I like how this movie did this female action lead. Because so many female action stars that I see, it's mostly like they never get hurt or they're invincible. That it's like, oh, they're better than every man. I like that this character wasn't played that way. She's played to be a kind of, sorry. She's kind of played to be a character that, yes, she's skilled in certain ways, but most of the time she's using a weapon or she's getting the drop on her enemies to have some sort of advantage. Um, or she's, you know, actually getting the shit beaten out of her, which that might sound weird, but given all of the leading action movies I see where the lead is just invincible and they try their hardest to make it a feminist thing while not understanding that women have a big physical disadvantage when it comes to fighting men. It's a completely different thing. So it was nice to see a movie that actually tried to look at it so sort of realistically and not just suck up and be like, this is girl power, women are better than men, that whole thing. It legitimately was trying to write her character to be somewhat realistic as she's fighting a lot of beefier men. She loses a lot of fights or fights have to stop or she runs away. It makes it feel like she's more of a human rather than a T-1000 but female. But yeah, that's a big thing I can give to this film. Also, again, I don't think Jessica Alba does a bad job here. It's just this film doesn't know if it wants to be straight up just an action movie or if it wants to be a drama thriller. And that happens a lot with these Netflix films. Where I feel like they enough time or let them have enough time filming to the point where a lot of things feel rushed. There's even a very explicit filming error or editing error or continuity error where they go into the mine like at pitch black night and then when as soon as they come out it's broad fucking daylight. So I know I'm talking about a slip, but it's just the main thing that is the main thing I really liked about this movie is the action scenes are pretty all right, pretty well done. There's clearly some practical effects work going on here, which is always nice to see, especially with Netflix. But also that they tried to write a semi-realistic female lead for an action movie. You don't see that often. The last time you saw something like that normally was with Cynthia Rothrock film, where you'd see her fighting a big beefy dude with a weapon, and even then she might get her ass kicked. But she still comes off as a badass because she seems like a normal person, and she's not just sh- she's she's not just again a fucking robot. There you go, that's better. What I didn't like This film is insanely pedestrian plot-wise. It's very the plot is exactly what you think it is. It's she finds out her dad died in a mine. She thinks something is up because the letter he wrote looks forced or something, and she finds out that some people in this town had to do with his death. And again, you can do this type of plot well, but there's no surprises here. Exactly who you think is involved is involved. The film at times stalls kind of wildly. In the middle, it does stall kind of significantly because it takes a bit for it to get going again. But again, I this film is from Thunder Road, who produced the John Wick series. Now, I'm not saying I want something exactly like John Wick. And I know that there are going to be people that are like, just try to be female John Wick, even though it's just a revenge movie and an action movie, and it's a stupid fucking comparison to be like everything is like John Wick because it's an action movie or even from the same people. But um here I kind of just wish it went with the choreography because the choreography is pretty good overall and it just works. And yeah, I just had a fun time whenever the action scenes came up, but and her character is fine. But again, the plot is very pedestrian, very boring. There's not much to keep me invested outside of she's trying to get revenge for her dad. And again, Jessica Alba, I feel like you need an who can give either a fantastic physical performance or a fantastic emotional performance to bump this up because I can't give this higher than the rating I gave it because the rating I gave it, it's just barely a 7 because I would never watch this again, but I don't think it's outright bad. I think it's just insanely mediocre for the most part. And if the story was a bit more interesting and we had some more interesting villains, some better acting, like the acting isn't bad, it's just very like autopilot for Netflix. So yeah, there's not much I can say on this. Jessica Alba does fine, the action scenes are fine, but that's about it. But yeah, that was my review of Trigger Warning. If you've seen the film, I know below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And move out.